You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome to Focus on Germantown. I'm Mayor Mike Palazzolo. It is my pleasure and privilege each month to host this show, offering conversation and comment about city government and how it provides services and works with our citizens. In January, the Board of Aldermen selected a group of 30 citizens for a strategic planning steering committee. This group of volunteers has graciously made a year-long commitment to update the city's current Vision 2020 strategic plan. Since March, when we had our first Focus on Germantown, we have had one of the three co-chairs as our guest to update us on the progress of the committee. This month, Kevin Young, the third of the co-chairs of the Germantown Forward Steering Committee, joins us to update us on the progress the committee is making. Also, we will welcome Paul Chandler from Germantown Performing Arts Center to the show. Paul will reflect on this past season, which was GPAC's 20th anniversary, and he will share what exciting new programs are coming up next season at GPAC. And finally, in our What's New segment, we will discuss the results of Germantown's community survey with City Administrator Patrick Lawton. But first, let's welcome Kevin Young. Kevin is a Germantown resident and the father of 3 children. He and his wife, Dr. Lisa Young, have been together for 34 years and lived in Germantown for 11 of them. Kevin is a past member of Germantown's Public Safety and Education Commission and the Neighborhood Preservation Commission as well. In addition to his role as one of the 3 chairs of our Germantown Forward Steering Committee, Kevin also currently chairs the Parks and Recreation Commission and is a member of the city's tree board. Thank you, Kevin. Share with us what the group tackled at its last meeting.
At our last meeting, we tackled the task of the SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats to the city. We put together a team of about 10 committee members, all at different tables. We had discussions and we came up with topics, and through those topics we were able to find out the challenges and how we could overcome some challenges, our weaknesses, what we could do about them, and our threats from the local community in the area.
That's great work. I know with 30 people on the steering committee, you've got 28 adults, 2 teenagers. How do you get everyone to work together and provide honest input to the group?
It's been a challenge, but we have citizens that have come together and learned to work with each other and give a true and honest opinion and tell us what they feel their future of Germantown should be.
Well, that's great. What are the next steps for the committee? I know that you'll be meeting for close to a year. You meet twice a month, and occasionally you'll meet more than that. What's up on the short-term horizon for the committee?
We're going to start an action plan. Our action plan will show the priorities that the group has come up with. In that, we will eventually turn them into task areas. And with those task areas, we'll move forward to make the plan.
Well, now, the general public, we really want input from the citizens of Germantown. We have 30 members that are on the steering committee. Hopefully, we'll have several hundred people over the course of a year. How do we get the general public to take part in this important initiative?
The steering committee meetings are open to the public. So we ask that our citizens attend and take an active involvement. We also can use social media to get them involved. We have a Twitter hashtag, which is hashtag Germantown Forward, and we'll need knowledgeable folks to put their knowledge to work on our task groups.
That's great. Let me ask you this, Kevin. You've been so involved in so many things in the city level for years, from Parks and Rec to, we heard preservation earlier, as well as safety. Have you enjoyed this role in serving your community?
Yes, I enjoy working with the community members And I like to see the results, and then hopefully the results of this committee will make a better Germantown for my children and grandchildren.
We'll take a short break. When we return, I will be joined by Paul Chandler, Executive Director of the Germantown Performing Arts Center. Please stay with us. I'm Germantown Mayor Mike Palazzolo.
And I'm Germantown City Administrator Patrick Lawton. The results of our 2015 community survey are in, and we are happy to share them with you.
99% of survey respondents rated Germantown as an excellent or good place to live.
Satisfaction with city services, including police, fire, emergency medical, public works, and parks, were also included in the survey.
We invite you to check out a complete copy of the survey on our website at germantown-tn.gov/2015 survey.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back to Focus on Germantown. I'm Mayor Mike Palazzolo. Joining us is Paul Chandler, the Executive Director of Germantown Performing Arts Center, also known as GPAC. Paul and his team at GPAC are wrapping up a very successful 20th anniversary season, and we are already preparing for the next stellar season, which begins in September. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, tell us a little bit about the 20th anniversary season.
What a whirlwind. We started back in September. Our first act was Dr. John, and then our big celebration was Wynton Marsalis and Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra. The Guild hosted a big party, and we kicked off what has been and what became a record-breaking season. We have increased subscribers, new donors. It's just been a spectacular year, and we wrapped that all around that anniversary. I think that was part of that success.
Well, not only being mayor, but I'm also on the GPAC board. I'm a little bit biased. We have done a great job this year. We're very proud of those efforts. When is the season going to be over, and is there a big celebration in store for us?
Yep, we just have a few shows left, and in May we will wrap up on May 16th. Our GPAC Gala. It is 102 years of Broadway Broadway's our theme. We've got an act that's coming in that's bringing 5 top level Broadway singers. We have 2 opportunities. We have a $200 ticket, which all those proceeds go to GPAC, and a big live auction and a big dinner honoring Honey and Rudy Scheidt, long-time board members and supporters. And then we also have a $75 ticket, which allows folks to come to the auction only and to the performance, and those proceeds also go to GPAC, and that's our biggest fundraiser of the year.
Well, that sounds great. You know, so many people have a different perspective on GPAC. There's so many different events going on besides the regular season. Tell us what we can expect this summer at GPAC.
This summer we've got some great things to report. Program-wise, we have summer camps for the little ones. We're still taking reservations there. We have all sorts of genres, from theater to visual art camp to music camp, et cetera, et cetera. Those are going on this summer, but the really big news is the renovation of the parking lot. The city of Germantown has stepped in and sought that we needed to correct and change the entrances and the exits for both GPAC and the Great Hall to make it easier, safer, and better, and more comfortable. The entrance of GPAC where people will be dropped off, and then we're going to add approximately 43 more much needed parking spaces. So that's going to happen, and then we're also going to be working on our lighting system inside the theater. And then what we also do is prepare and prep for the launch of next season.
Well, speaking of next season, we just celebrated 20 years of GPAC, so this will be year 21. I know I did my math right there. What do we expect for next season? Any big announcements yet?
We have season tickets are on sale now, and single tickets are on sale now. You can receive up to 30% if you subscribe to everything, or you can go by series. I brought a little flyer here as my cheat sheet. You can pick this up at the box office window anytime, or they can email it to you. And then we'll be mailing out a brochure in a couple of weeks, which should land right at the end of May. But we're going to kick off with Belinda Carlisle, the lead singer of the Go-Go's, which is the most famous all-girl band in the history of the world, as they say. We've got a great jazz series. Jazz is big at GPAC. From David Sanborn will kick off that series. Dance is always an exciting thing. We've got Houston Ballet, Palazzolo is coming back, and a Cirque company that performs over 1.5 feet of water. So we're going to cover the stage floor with water. With Larry Gatlin, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and Stuart Copeland, the drummer of the famous band, The Police.
Wow, what a season, season 21. You know, you've described jazz, dance. One of the things that I think you brought as executive director is our Americana series. Just briefly tell us a little bit about that.
So that's where we experiment with a variety of genres. Jazz, as you know, is an American genre, American created genre. But we dabble with gospel and blues and R&B and Americana and folk. And we sold out every American music show in the 20th season. And so the demand is high. We brought a bunch of new people and introduced them to GPAC, and now they're going and trying the other offerings. In addition, we have family programming, adult education programs, the list goes on, music classes, et cetera, et cetera. We just tallied the number of sort of reserved timeframes in a different space in GPAC for FY16 for next season. We have 242 things that people can come and participate in a variety of levels.
Well, they say it's happening at GPAC. It's pretty obvious. I will tell you what, Mavis Staples last year was one of the best shows I've seen in years. For our viewers at home, tell us something that happens at GPAC that people might not know.
Ooh, I want to talk to you about the stage floor. This is just really exciting. The stage floor was built 20 years ago out of soft pine, and it has seen countless famous people and young people in Germantown that have all performed, and young people and adults from around the area performed on that stage, and we needed to renovate it and take it all the way down. It was a sprung stage system, and for an unprecedented act, the GPAC Board of Directors split the cost upwards of 150, 180. It was a lot of dollars. Split the cost for a brand new stage floor. It's a harder surface, it's better, and it'll take us far beyond 20 years. And that collaborative effort, public-private partnership, just really kind of rubber stamped that GPAC is in a really, really good position. The board is really strong, and the city support is just fantastic.
Well, speaking of that, you brought something, didn't you?
I brought this. This is a piece of the old stage floor. And this is one performance that was actually taken on that floor. This is Savion Glover, one of the most famous dancers alive today. So you can go, we're using it as a fundraiser. You buy this, make a contribution for $1,000, and you choose a photo that happened at GPAC, and then we commemorate it with a brass plaque, not this white one. And we have sold 12 of these, raising $12,000 for GPAC. And then we also recycled the stage floor to make these beautiful writing pens, and we sell those for $100 as a contribution to GPAC.
Well, that's outstanding. You know, some people aren't aware of some of the other groups that call GPAC home. Just briefly share, I know I have to present a proclamation this Saturday for one of those organizations. Tell our viewers some of the other groups that use GPAC.
We have the GPAC Youth Symphony Orchestra, which started at GPAC 5 years ago, that calls it home. Iris Orchestra, which was created at GPAC 15 years ago. They celebrated 15 years this year. They will have, they're doubling the number of performances next year. The Memphis Symphony Orchestra is doubling the number of performances at GPAC, and Opera Memphis, as of 2 years ago, moved their main stage performances to GPAC, and they're doing 2 full operas next season. It's really, really exciting. I'm sure I forgot somebody else, but all the local high schools are using the facility. The community is using it, the guild uses it, and we have lots of recurring renters, and I tell you, Mayor, we're full.
Well, it's a great place. You know, one of our board members on the GPAC board always makes the statement that you cannot find a better venue between St. Louis and New Orleans. It's right here in Germantown. It seats 824 patrons. It's acoustically sound and one of the best places to see a show. Share with us, we just have a few more seconds, share with us how our viewers can get more information from GPAC.
Sure, to contact GPAC for anything, I advise you go to the box office. You can contact them at 901-751-7500, or gpacweb.com has all the information, and that can lead you to other departments, whether it's education, development, or marketing, or et cetera, or myself.
Well, thank you, Paul. Great news. Congratulations on a great 20th season. We look forward to number 21.
Thank you, Mayor.
Paul, thanks so much for being here. GPAC is truly something our residents should take great pride in having in our community. If you want to learn more about GPAC, visit gpacweb.com. Back after this.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty where no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back to Focus on Germantown. Joining me for our What's New segment is City Administrator Patrick Lawton. He's here to discuss a recent community survey. Patrick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, it's good to have you. To give you a little bit of background, we do survey our residents periodically. Tell us why the community survey is so important.
The survey is critical. We do an excellent job at City Hall in providing services to our residents, but the community survey and the fact of the way it's administered allows our residents to give us their thoughts and their opinions on a variety of city services, so we in turn can take that information, distill it, and try to make informed decisions on how we move forward in meeting the needs of our residents.
Do most cities in the state or the country, do they perform surveys?
You would think so. You would think so. And what better way to gather information about how you're doing, how you're providing services to your residents without a survey? And so that's why we do the survey. But again, many communities do not participate. They will use public hearings. They will use opportunities during board meetings to allow the public to address the mayor and the board, but they're typically single issue topics where you have a group of stakeholders involved in one particular issue, but what's missing is the broader perspective about what is happening in the community, what is important to our residents, and what are things that need to be addressed. That's what the community-wide survey, with properly worded questions and priorities in different areas in terms of satisfaction and levels of importance, provides you as mayor, myself as administrator, and our elected officials and city staff to make informed decisions.
How long has the city of Germantown been performing surveys?
Consistently since 2011. We did a community-wide survey And then beginning in 2012 and moving forward to this most recent survey in 2015, we did a statistically valid random sample of our residents from across the community. And what's interesting and what speaks volumes about the validity of the sample is we see very similar results, and these are different people taking a survey year after year after year in terms of their perception about city government, city services, and just overall living in Germantown.
What kind of questions are typically asked on the survey of our citizens?
We'll ask satisfaction levels and levels of importance on a variety of city services, whether it's our park system, whether it's our police department, emergency medical service, library, just in general, how we are performing and what are the needs of our residents, unmet needs, things that we might be able to improve upon, and just overall satisfaction in those areas.
Well, this is my favorite question. Survey says, what does the survey tell us from our citizens, Patrick?
Exactly. Well, but as I mentioned, Mayor, earlier, that the city consistently receives high marks in a number of areas. And that's good to see, because if you see that trend line continue to go up in these areas, that's important for us to know. And conversely, if we see a decline in certain percentages, that will tell us we need to dig down a little bit. But overall, nearly 99% of our residents who took the survey rated Germantown as excellent or a good place to live. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that. 97% of the residents are happy with the safety of living in Germantown as compared to other cities. And what's interesting about that safety rating is we can back that up. That's residents' perceptions and opinion, but then we can go to our performance measures in the police department, for example, and demonstrate that Germantown probably has the second lowest crime rate in the state. So you got that information and that anecdotal data from our residents and perceptions backed up by real hard facts and figures from the police department. 96% of our residents are satisfied with the overall image and reputation of the city of Germantown. 94% of our residents are satisfied with the cleanliness and maintenance of our city. And 93% of the residents are satisfied with the job that city government is providing overall, which is a remarkable figure when you compare it to other areas of state, county, and national government.
Those are very strong numbers, something that we can all be proud of as elected officials, citizens, and our employees that make that happen. What other feedback did we receive?
Well, there's with the good, there's also some areas that I like to refer to areas for opportunities to improve. But even those are pretty high. But we're going to look at areas, 70% of our respondents are satisfied with city government's effort to actively seek citizen involvement and input. We pride ourselves on that. So that's an area we're going to drill down on and see how we might be able to make some improvements. 69% were satisfied with the effectiveness of our customer service center. That's an area that we're concerned about, even though it's still high, but we want to be able to go in and learn from that and make sure that we have the right people answering the calls and handling the customer's complaint on the spot and not having to pass that off. And 70% are satisfied with the overall quality of the yard waste collection service. We know, something you and I have had long conversations about, that we need to improve in that area of solid waste collection throughout the city. The survey confirms that. What we know, now it's our responsibility to act responsibly on that data.
Well, we do know that we're always seek continuous improvement, so these surveys help us identify those areas as well. Patrick, do we ask the same questions each year?
Pretty much. So we can look at trends and identify those areas that we're continuing to make improvements on and those areas that maybe are kind of in those lower rungs that we need to address. However, there was a new question we asked this year. And it's the question, if you're online or if you're taking a survey, that you will oftentimes hear somebody at the end of that customer service experience ask you, would you recommend this particular service to a friend or a family member? It's called the Net Promoter Score. And we use that this time in city government. I don't think there are many local governments who are looking at a Net Promoter Score, but the question was, would you recommend the city of Germantown as a place to live for friends or family? And our Net Promoter Score was a 77, which is extremely high. And it's made up of 3 areas. It's made up of promoters. Those people, I call them cheerleaders in our community, who are out there actively promoting the Germantown brand and talking about the good things that are happening in the community because they're involved in their experiencing. Then there are the passive groups, maybe not quite as engaged, but they're here, they're living, and they're taking care of their business in Germantown. And then unfortunately, there's about 5% who are detractors. And those are folks who are actively unengaged and may not say such good things about you, but it's a small percentage. But Germantown, our Net Promoter Score, we're very pleased with that 77.
I'm sure the private sector companies probably use data like this. Do we compare well with companies and corporations?
You're right, Mayor. They absolutely use that data because information and feedback from their customers, that's their lifeblood. They need to know how people are responding and acting upon the information, and are they satisfied with it, and can they talk about it? But just to give you some examples, and these are private companies that I think most of our audience would recognize as superior and doing a good job in providing service. So I mentioned ours was 77. Costco Amazon has a Net Promoter Score of 76. Costco and Apple have a Net Promoter Score of 71. United States Automobile Association has a Net Promoter Score of 83. So our Net Promoter Score of 77, we feel we're in pretty good company with some companies that I think we would acknowledge as providing excellent service.
Well, Patrick, we have about 30 seconds left in this segment. How will the city use these results throughout the community?
That's a good question, Mayor. You know, it's one thing to ask a question, but if you don't act on the data, if you don't look at ways that you could improve on a particular service level, then why ask the question? Why do the survey in the first place? We will take this information, fold it into our departmental business plans, and incorporate that into our performance measures so we can look at the measures and understand ways and try to make improvements and move the needle in the right direction. Even further, perhaps get that 99% up.
Patrick, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for taking the time to focus on Germantown. I'd like to thank my guests for taking time out of their busy schedule to talk to us today. If you'd like more information about this show or other topics, visit us on our website at www.gmtvonline.org. From all of us here at Germantown Municipal Television and from City Hall, we'd like to thank you for joining us this season. We'll be back with new episodes of Focus on Germantown beginning in September. From all of us here at Germantown Municipal Television and from City Hall, thank you for watching.